All right, Dr. Jen. So my husband's gonna demonstrate push-ups for us because I still have the tennis elbow, really bad tennis elbow. He actually has it too from playing Mario Kart with the kids, but he's better able to do the push-ups and demonstrate them for me. So I'm gonna go ahead and have him knock out the 10 reps and show us progressions and regressions for the standard push-up. So some things we want to consider when we are doing a push-up. The push-up can work the chest, the biceps and triceps. They can also work the leg muscles if done properly. We want to make sure that our core is always engaged when we get into the push-up position. We want to also make sure that our butt is clenched and squeezed together. And we also want to make sure that we have our hands and our arms in the right placement. So I'm going to have Terrell get up into standard push-up position and explain everything about his arm placement, his pelvis placement, and his toe placement. So go ahead, boo. Give me push-up position, please.
Is that all the way out?
Mm-hmm.
Up or just
yeah, all the way
just here?
Well, okay, so we can start here. So one of the things that I like to tell people is that the standard push-up requires your arms to be either shoulder width apart or a little bit wider. And here, as you can see, my husband's shoulder is here and his arms are a little bit out. He also has his arms a little bit below his shoulders, just slightly. He has them in line with his chest, and that's going to give him a good range of motion when he goes up into the push-up position. But when he does get up, he's going to make sure he's activating his core. He's going to make sure that his butt cheeks are squeezed together, and he's going to also make sure that he has a slight anterior tilt in his pelvis to make sure that his hips are tucked under. That's going to give him stability throughout the movement. All right, hold it there. So while we're here, his head is hanging currently, but we want to make sure that our body's in a straight line, that our toes are also tucked under as well, and that our arms are about 45-degree angle away from the body when we go down into the position. So go ahead, Terrell, knock out your 10, please. So currently he's half repping. There we go. You want to make sure that we get full extension without locking out the arms, and a good push-up would allow for you to go all the way down, possibly having your chest touch the ground, and then coming up. One thing I like to tell people is to make sure to imagine themselves pushing the ground away from them as they're doing the push-up, and that will give you an idea of what the push-up should feel like as you're going through your reps. So he's going to show us a progression for the standard push-up. What he's doing is a decline push-up, and that is going to be our progression for the push-up. It requires more core stability, and it puts more pressure on your upper body to perform this progression. So again, be mindful of your arm placement. Make sure your core is engaged and tight, and that your hips are tucked under as well. Go ahead. Good job, boo. All right. Okay. Good job. Common errors with the push-up include the teeing of the arms. Babe, can you put your arms in the tee? So we want to make sure that we're not teeing our arms. Our arms should be about 45 degrees lining up with the body, okay? This is not okay. You put too much strain on the elbow this way and on the shoulder joints. Some other errors include, baby, can you get up and stand up push-up position for me? Is the bowing of the midsection or the sagging of the midsection, so dropping the midsection. So right now, this is because there is no core engagement. So when this happens, you are actually putting more strain on your lower back, and this is not a good push-up position, okay? You can come down. And the other common error is having your butt too high and actually not having your hip tucked under. So can you demonstrate that too? Right here, this is limited core engagement as well, and this is not proper push-up form. Okay. And then we're just going to show a regression. I was just going to do some push-ups on his knees. These are still very effective for people who are struggling to get into a full push-up position. Um, this takes pressure off the lumbar spine, and this allows you to build upper body strength without having to um, use the back muscles too much.
Woo! Get a bird.
All right. Well, thank you. That was my husband performing push-ups for us. Okay, so to perform the shoulder press, you want to start out with a firm grip on the barbell, and then you want to slowly bend the arms and lower the barbell to your collarbone, making sure to keep your elbows slightly forward as you bring them down to your sides. Then you want to press the barbell overhead until your elbows are extended, making sure not to lock them out. As you're pushing the barbell upward, it's a good practice to move your head out of the way by slightly, rocking forward as you push the barbell up and then rocking backwards as the barbell is being brought down. Keep your back straight, your torso upright with your head facing forward. For stability, it is very important that your core is contracted, and for good practice, it's good to make sure that you are not repping too quickly and keeping a moderate pace. So common errors include not keeping the neck or head in neutral spine. That is a big deal. When your neck and your head aren't in neutral spine, you are more prone to injuries. Another error includes not bringing your arms all the way up or them all the way down to your collarbone, limiting range of motion. So basically half repping. And then another common error includes bringing the weight up in front of you instead of overhead. And this is usually due to shoulder mobility and will improve with improved shoulder mobility. Progressing the shoulder press includes doing the alternating dumbbell shoulder press or adding resistance bands to a barbell. Regressions not filmed include maybe using the Smith machine for stability and not using a barbell or dumbbells at all, but just using resistance bands to perform the shoulder press. To perform a chair dip, you're going to sit at the edge of the chair with your palms face down at the sides of your hips, and then you are going to lift up and walk your feet out until you are in about a reverse push-up position. And then you are going to lower your torso and your glutes down by bending your elbows at a 90-degree angle to activate your triceps. As always, please make sure that your core is tight and your torso is upright so that you can perform this workout properly. So common errors include having flared elbows, which moves the focus from your triceps to your shoulders and can increase your risk of injury. So it's very important that elbows stay tucked close to your side during the dip. And also another area would be not going low enough, which would not fully engage your triceps in this case. And so basically you wouldn't be reaping the full benefit of the dip. And then also going too low into the dip, which would put undue pressure on your shoulders and increase your risk of injury. When you've mastered chair dips, you can progress to the parallel bar dips. And if you're having issues mastering the basic chair dip, you can regress to the bent knee chair dip. That's my baby girl. To perform a floor press, you should begin by laying on your back under the bar. I know I'm doing this from home, but if you're at a gym, you would want to lay on your back under the bar. Ideally, you should position your eyes underneath the bar, because if you're too far forward or too far back, that could lead to injuries. So the next thing you want to do is bend your knees enough that you're able to place your feet flat on the floor. This is a good starting position for beginners, and it helps provide some stability for performing the exercise. After you're set, you want to position your hands and arms on the barbell shoulder width apart, making sure that you have a good grip. Then, like I said, if you're at the gym, you would pull the bar out from the rack to a position where it's hovering over your lower chest. This is always better done with a spotter so that you can avoid unlocking of the shoulders that could compromise stability. Then once the bar is stable, make sure to lower it down slowly and in a controlled fashion over the lower part of your chest. Your elbows need to be tucked, and as you bring the bar down, you want to make sure that your arms touch the ground and then pause. Then press the bar back up with controlled force, making sure that your wrists always remain aligned with your elbow so that you are able to end the press in the same position that you started. Common floor press errors include the flaring of elbows, which places your shoulders at a high risk of injury. Then there's bouncing off the floor with the weights, which undoes the muscle and strength building benefits that are gained from pausing at the bottom. And then there's losing form when you're at the bottom. This is not a time to relax. You need to do what you can to keep your muscles contracted and tight so you can reap the benefits of the pause. To progress the floor press, you can add resistance bands to the end of the barbell, and to regress it, you can simply just use resistance bands instead. From there, I don't have anything else that I can say to the guests other than, I understand you have the right to call the police, and if they come, I have to evict you.
Good job.
It's just
Spin.
simple.
Huh?
Spin.
I'm trying to keep this all on as long as we can possibly stay on. And I'm trying
I can do something like
day as much as I
one
can.
thing.